I'm pretty sure coffee is God's gift to new parents. I mean, this stuff is magical. I mean, how else can you get through the first 4 months of your child's life on 3 hours of sleep per day? You tell me. Some people say, ugh, coffee, gross, tastes terrible. And they're often right, because there's a lot of bad ways to make coffee. And many of them start with that ubiquitous appliance in American kitchens, the coffee maker. Now, coffee makers are nice, but most of them don't do as good of a job as the method we're going to show you today. We call it the brew it in a bowl method. There are 3 keys to making smooth coffee. First, hand grinding the coffee. Next, brewing at a lower temperature. And finally, using a piece of muslin or cheesecloth in your filtering. The result? Smooth black coffee. Not bitter at all. So smooth you can drink it without all the sugar and cream. And that's a hell of a lot healthier for you anyway. So new parents, this mug's for you. We're first going to show you how to make a single cup of smooth black coffee. Then, because some days are harder than others, we'll show you how to make a whole 6-cup pot. Try not to drink it all by yourself though. I'll be honest with you, baristas everywhere probably won't like our method. But that's okay with us. If you're really interested in how we arrived at this method, check out our website where you can read all about our rationale for our method. Now, on to the coffee. Well, first, let's talk about what you'll need. Now, obviously, you'll need coffee. In this episode, we're featuring Ohio products because that's where we're from, and we're proud of it. So we're featuring one of our local roasteries, Reza's Roast. The beans we're using here are from their medium roast called Adulting Fuel. Cleverly named and delicious. But if I'm being honest, I'm a true lover of their dark roast called No Coffee, No Talkie. Says it all. You'll also need a conical burr grinder like the one you see here. Now this is a German-made hand grinder by Peter Dienes. It is our baby. We love it. Get yourself a good hand grinder because I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I don't typically notice when BG does something different in how he prepares food, but I could totally tell a difference when he served me coffee that was ground by this little guy. The coffee was amazingly smooth, and that's because the grinder was able to grind the beans into consistently sized particles. So think about that if you're on a quest for a great cup of coffee that you can make at home. If you're going to make just a single cup of coffee, you'll need a tea kettle and a thermometer, a tablespoon, and a measuring cup. You'll also need a small mixing bowl, a fine wire mesh strainer, and if you want a super smooth cup of coffee, make sure to use a piece of muslin or some cheesecloth. If you're going to make a 6-cup pot, you'll need what you see here. You'll need a pot. You'll also need a mixing bowl, a funnel, a small strainer, and don't forget your muslin or piece of cheesecloth. At the end of this video, we'll share a table with you for the measurements and proportions for making different amounts of coffee. First, let's talk about how to make a single cup of coffee. You're first going to put your water on the stove and set it to high, but don't go too far. You're going to take it off the stove before it starts boiling. While that's going on, you're going to grind your beans. For a single 8-ounce cup, you're going to use a little more than 2 tablespoons of ground coffee. Call it 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons. Now BG is grinding way more than that here because we made lots of coffee when we filmed this at 4 a.m. on a Saturday, because that's basically the only free time that parents of young kids have. After you grind the beans, measure out a little more than 2 tablespoons of coffee and put it into a small mixing bowl. Get a mug that makes you happy and put your fine wire mesh coffee strainer on top. Line it with a piece of muslin or cheesecloth for extra smoothness. Use a thermometer to check your water temperature. We recommend brewing between 175 and 180 degrees. Many baristas will recommend a higher temperature like 195 to 200, but they're going for maximum flavor extraction. We like flavor too, but we also want smoothness, so we keep it a little lower. Measure out 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of water and pour it onto your coffee. This will allow some of the water to be absorbed by the coffee grounds while still giving you a full 8 ounces. Stir your coffee in the bowl for about 30 seconds. Then slowly pour the contents of the bowl into the strainer. Let it fully filter into your cup. Then remove the filter. Inhale deeply, smile, and enjoy. Now for the pot of coffee. This carafe holds 6 cups, but will also give you proportions for making a 12-cup pot. Heat up your water and grind your coffee. For a 6-cup pot, you're going to need to use 1 cup of ground coffee. Put your grounds into a medium-sized mixing bowl. After you've heated up your water, go the extra mile and clean your pot with some hot water and a paper towel. Fold a paper towel and drop it into your pot. Then follow that with some hot water. Swirl the pot around and dump out the contents. Not only will this clean your pot, it will also bring your pot to temperature so your coffee doesn't lose its heat. Since your carafe is larger than a cup, you'll need to use a small wire strainer basket with some muslin or cheesecloth. Also be sure to get the muslin wet before you line the basket. If you don't do this part, the filtering process won't go as smoothly. You'll also need a funnel. Once your water is between 175 and 180, pour it over the coffee grounds. And don't worry about measuring the water right now, because once you've strained your coffee, you're going to add more water to bring your total volume to 6 cups. Stir your coffee grounds and water for about 30 seconds. When you're ready to pour the contents into the funnel, take extra care here and pour slowly. Scrape all the coffee grounds into the funnel. Then remove your strainer, followed by your funnel. Then add more water to the pot until it's full. And congratulations, you're ready to go. So for all of you who've got too much to do and not enough time to do it, have a cup or 2 or 3. Thanks for watching this first part of our breakfast series. Definitely try out this method and let us know what you think. Coming up, we're working on an episode on our favorite gluten-free, dairy-free pancakes. Sounds gross. It's definitely not, I promise you. See you next time on Our Final Freezer.